بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. What we love, why we love, and who we love. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clarifies our priorities, our allegiances, our sincerity, and declares for us that if we love anything but Allah, and if we do not love everything for the sake of Allah, then it is meaningless, it is futile. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clarifies the fact that if you have any allegiance, even to your parents, even to your brothers and sisters, even to your siblings, to anyone whom you declare your sincerity to, but who is not in the path of Allah, then that is not an accepted and appropriate behavior for a believer. Because your allegiance, your sincerity will always be towards Allah Azza wa Jalla. Anything you love, even if that is your children, your spouse, your parents, you will have to love them for the sake of Allah. Because then that defines who you are. If your love is declared for the sake of Allah, if you love everything for the sake of Allah, then your actions will speak the same. Then the sincerities, then the friendships, then the relationships, then the allegiances, and the followerships you will develop them for the sake of Allah as well, Azza wa Jalla. In that regard, your behaviors and your character will define how you will dictate your steps in this life. If you're truly someone who's dedicated themselves to Allah Azza wa Jalla, then your actions will do the same. Then you will have Allah and His Prophet, and the people who are walking in the pathway of Allah will be declared as your friends and your allies. You will be inspired by them. Because remember, if you love someone, then you will be inspired by them, then you will be influenced by them. And if you are influenced by the wrong people who are not on the pathway of Allah, this will lead you to hellfire. And even in this dunya, Allah promises you that you will not be successful. Because He says, Jalla Jalaluhu in Quran, if you have your allegiances to anyone else than Allah, or anyone who is not on the pathway of Allah, then behold and wait for what Allah will bring upon you. Because we as believers in Allah are blessed with the fact that Allah has given us faith, has given us the ability to believe in Allah, to have iman. This is an important gift. This is a gift that surpasses any other gift, far more important than health and wealth and anything else on this earth. Because there are people who have got everything, but they don't have iman. Since we have this iman, the necessities, the prerequisites of iman dictates that we act in accordance to those behaviors and those characteristics that will show our gratitude towards our iman. If we do by that, if we abide by that, then we will be successful in this life and the hereafter. Then we will have been able to sell our time to get the afterlife, to buy an eternity with the time we spend on this earth. Otherwise, if we are not abiding by the principles of faith, if we are not abiding by the principles of love for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla, if we are not declaring our allegiances for the sake of Allah, then we will not be doing things for the sake of Allah either. For Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam reminds us that we love for the sake of Allah, we dislike for the sake of Allah, we stop and prevent and even prevent ourselves for the sake of Allah, and that is how we behave. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then you'll start selecting your partner, selecting your friends based on your personal desires, based on your interests, based on what you feel is beneficial for you. But you will forget that you are not here for your own sake. You are here for the sake of Allah. Your allegiance only belongs with Allah. And that is how you can become someone who's genuinely truthful to themselves, someone who's beneficial for the community and for this earth, someone who's able to stand in the face of. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly states that as a final reminder for us, Allah does not need us. We need Allah. And if we have been given faith, if we have been given iman, if we are sitting here as the nation of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, then we have to fulfill our duties. Because He says in Quran, if you do not fulfill your duties, if you do not clearly indicate your intentions for the sake of Allah, if you do not practically practice your love for Allah, then Allah will replace you. And He will bring someone and another group of people who love Allah more than you do, and Allah will love them back. And those will do everything for the sake of Allah, will commit to every action for the sake of Allah, and they will not fear the blame of others. They will not fear being blamed for doing everything for the sake of Allah. They will not fear the stigma of being called someone who is following the pathway of Allah and His Prophet. And that's what Allah wants. So we have one choice and one choice only. Either walk in the pathway of Allah for the sake of His love for the sake of Allah, and dislike for the sake of Allah, and dictate our life for His way and His pathway. Otherwise, Allah will replace us. And that's very easy for Him. Because the iman that has been given to us will only be valuable as long as we act and abide by the prerequisites and the necessities and the requirements of this iman. It's just like the seed that you plant out there in the garden. If you water it, if you service it, if you look after it, if you nourish it, it will grow into a beautiful cherry tree and blossom. If you do not, it will dry out and die. So we have the choice to how utilizing our next days will declare what will happen to us in the hereafter on in this dunya. To make sure that we only work for the sake of Allah, we only speak and love for the sake of Allah, and we actually shape our lives around our love for Allah. Then we can serve our hereafter